doing just as great.
I'm not, but we do have an amazing next story to get up. Something that I'm really excited over because Tomb Raider gets Lovecraft Country series creator Misha Green to write and direct. If you haven't seen Lovecraft Country, don't stop what you're doing. Stay tuned into us. Afterwards, go check out Lovecraft Country because it is amazing. Tomb Raider 2 is moving forward at MGM with Lovecraft Country showrunner Misha Green on board to write and direct. This marks Green's first movie as a director, though she previously helmed an episode of Lovecraft Country last year as a writer. She has written for shows like Sons of Anarchy and The Underground and penned the script for the upcoming Netflix action movie, The Mother. Tomb Raider 2 will bring back Alicia to star as Lara Croft, continuing the explorer's adventures following the events of the original movie. Beyond that, no details have been revealed about the potential plot or story direction. Like the video game series, which has also been rebooted with a more realistic tone, the 2018 Tomb Raider movie brought a more grounded take to the movie series compared to the previous adaptations. We can presume the sequel will carry a similar tone. Plans for Tomb Raider 2 have been in the works for years. In 2019, Amy Jump was hired to write the screenplay for the sequel, with Alicia on board to return as Lara Croft. Wheatley, Jump's husband, was later signed to direct the movie. At the time, it was reported that Tomb Raider 2 will be released on March 19, 2021, with plans to shoot in England last year. The pandemic led to production delays, and the movie was on the shelf. It appears MGM has decided to go in another direction creatively, with Green at the helm. Now, this is something that I'm really, really excited about, guys. I don't know why, but the reboot of the Tomb Raider series is what actually got me into the reboot of the games. It's something that I feel was a breath of fresh air because even though we all possibly love or hate, because it was a love and hate relationship with the original Tomb Raider movies, I did like the cheesiness and playfulness that it had connected to those same games it was tied to. But we're in a day and an age where everything needs to be grounded, real, and just upfront in order for us to be related to it. What do you guys think about this news that we got?
Go ahead, Stuart, if you want to.
Oh, I was going to say mine will be short because if I'm being honest, I've actually I didn't see the first of the Tomb Raider reboot movies. So the one that came out a few years ago, I never actually saw that in theaters. But that's mostly just because I've never really been a big Tomb Raider fan when it comes to the games. I played the remake of the first game when they re-released it on Xbox 360 as a launch title. And then I did play the first reboot of Tomb Raider, which I actually did think was really good. I never beat it, though, because I was borrowing it from a friend. But I did enjoy the reboot, mostly because I liked that it wasn't just the kind of not saying I didn't like the platforming from the previous Tomb Raider games, but after a while it did to me kind of feel like it was getting old. So it was nice to play a game where it did a good mixture of that and the shooting wasn't, the annoying lock on your target and, just press the trigger to shoot them down. It was like, oh, I can actually aim in this game. So I had a lot of fun with that. So I did actually enjoy the reboot to the Tomb Raider series in the game format. But yeah, with that being said, I still have never checked out the movie for some reason, but I'll definitely be checking it out sometime soon before the sequel comes out. Definitely.
Well, for me, I was a big fan of the actual series. I was a fan of the first Tomb Raider movie that we wind up getting with Angelina Jolie. Absolutely loved it. I kind of wasn't the biggest fan of the second one, but I was super thrilled when they actually rebooted it. I did think Alicia Vikander did a pretty good job in regards to it. Now, I don't think that this Tomb Raider movie with Alicia Vikander, the first one, was like the best that we've ever seen when it comes to video game movies, but definitely not by no stretch. But I thought that they at least handled Lara Croft really well, understood who the character was, and we had a nice little adventure film out of it, honestly. So I thought it was a really nice, at least first step into maybe something a little bit bigger that they can kind of tackle when it comes to a sequel. So I thought a really nice kind of jumping off point and start to it. I'm kind of like you though, Stuart. Like when it comes to the video game franchise, for me, my only dabble in the Tomb Raider franchise was like its first iteration of like Tomb Raider 1 and 2 on like the classic PlayStation. But after that, I easily fell off. I never really got back into it, and still until I saw just the leaps and bounds that they wind up making with the reboot here for the video game. I wind up playing the first one, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and absolutely loved it, fell in love with it. It definitely refreshed the franchise for sure, and it even gave it a little bit of an uncharted sort of action-packed movie feel to it, which I really appreciated. So definitely breathed some life into the franchise that it was certainly much needed. So going into this and seeing that they decided to revamp the movie franchise too, I think was a brilliant plan, honestly. But to get back to the actual article itself, with Misha Green being brought on for Lovecraft Country, Indy, I got to agree with you, man. If you guys have not checked out Lovecraft Country, I will say this: the first 2 episodes for me was a little bit rough to kind of get into, because I felt like there was just so much information for them to kind of give you at first, that I didn't quite know exactly how to feel about the series itself, because it did take me a while to kind of get over that hump of like the first 2 episodes. But once you get over that first initial couple of episodes, that series just kind of goes off on its own and just becomes just something absolutely incredible and rather unique, and an extremely incredible blend of different types of genres and storytellings. And I love what Misha Green was capable of doing. Now, she was actually the creator of that series herself, even though she only directed, I believe, 1 of the episodes, which was episode 8, which is another stellar episode, though. But I really love what she's doing. And if anything, that just tells me that they are willing and ready to take Lara Croft to kind of that next step. That we wind up getting that first adventure sort of out of the way. Now let's see how big of an adventure, and how, I don't want to say crazy, but just how unique of an adventure we can really get Lara Croft in, really switching up the tone, the vibe, the atmosphere of a sequel. I think Misha Green is a perfect choice for it. And I think once you guys check out Lovecraft Country, you'll see exactly what we're talking about. Again, maybe give it the first 1 or 2 episodes, but after that, guys, it takes off, and you really get to see just a genius that is behind Lovecraft Country and Misha Green. So I'm looking forward to this. I think this is great news. I think they picked up somebody fantastic for this Tomb Raider movie.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. I don't feel like you can get better than what you got for somebody to actually provide their vision and put it on the screen, especially when it comes to having a female lead in the movie. I'm interested in the visuals and how crazy they're going to get, because in the games they started to involve aliens and everything else when it came to Tomb Raider. So I'm
in which ones, in the originals or
the originals, the reboots? I just want to see what the imagery is going to look like, because that's something that I feel that Misha Green is good at, is the imagery that we see to tell the story. I feel will draw us more into the world when it comes to Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I think for me, it definitely gets me excited just to see what a new vision of that character is going to look like through somebody else's eyes. Considering what we got from the first movie, I am expecting something a little bit more established this time.